Hey everyone, it's Flick Can Gamer. So this is my first video of 2026. I think I just needed some time to kind of regroup and just needed to take time to myself. So there was just a lot of personal things going on. And I think after last night, I'm going to go through the next game collection and we're going to go on the good old fashioned Xbox 360 and cover all the games that I have. So the Xbox 360, it's kind of a fun story how I got it because I don't really remember how he got it. This is actually my third one because the first one was the original model that I had, and at that I don't remember how I got it. And I think that machine, that original model lasted until I think I want to say 2013 because of the infamous Red Ring of Death. And then the second model that I had, which is the same one over there, the second one I had worked pretty good, but I think that only lasted a few years because I was playing Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, and then the whole system got corrupted for some reason. So this is actually the third Xbox 360 that I've had, and I've tried to be a little bit more careful with it. So similar to my past couple of videos, I'm going to go over all the games that I have in my collection so far. But some of them are probably not going to be as in-depth because admittedly, I haven't really gotten a chance to play all of them. So let's start from the top. So Red Dead Redemption, I've pretty much heard the reputation about this game. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten the chance to play it. And this is basically the old model. Well, not the old version without the zombies mode. I basically got this at a GameStop that actually still sells a lot of the older games, but it's kind of far than the one that I'm used to. But like I said, I haven't really gotten a chance to play it yet, so there's not really much I can talk about. And the same can be said for the next two games. So the next two games, Portal 2 and Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage. So Portal 2, I basically heard everything about this game, but I haven't gotten the chance to play it yet. And Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage, I've only heard about this game through the Quarter Guy's top 10 underrated gems video from 10 years ago or 10, 15 years ago. Like I said, I haven't gotten around to playing either of these games yet, but I will take a look at it one day. Now to talk about a couple of games that I actually have something to say about. So first up, Tekken 6, the first Xbox 360 game that I actually gotten the chance to play. Honestly, I was very excited for this game because considering that I was a huge fan of Tekken 5. So the hype around this game was very exciting to me, and I was genuinely looking forward to playing the game. And from what I've played, it's an all-around enjoyable fighter, but I'd probably go back to play Tekken 5 a little bit more. And the story mode. I want to like the story mode so much. And I've actually gotten pretty far into the story mode on the old model up until I've hit the boss fight where Alicia Boskanovich is turned evil by Jin, and I could never get past that stage. And even then, I've never finished the story mode for Tekken 6. But overall, I think Tekken 6 is an enjoyable game that I think has a pretty good roster, all things considered. So I really enjoy this game, and I can safely say it's certainly better than, say, I don't know, Tekken 8. I haven't really played it yet, but I heard that Tekken 8's story has gotten a lot of backlash. And as you can tell, the case has kind of seen better days. I don't know how that happened. All right, so up next is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I've only learned about this game from Angry Joe's top 10 best games of 2010 video, and I've gotten the chance to play the game, and from what I've played, it was an enjoyable racing game for what it was. Admittedly, I haven't really gotten very far into it, but like I said, from what I've played, it's an enjoyable game in the Need for Speed series, and I haven't really played any other of the games as far as I'm aware of. But like I said, I haven't really played much of it, but I definitely liked it. All right. So up next, Halo Reach, one of the staples of the Xbox 360 and one of the games on the system that I've done a Let's Play on. And honestly, it's probably one of my least favorite Let's Plays that I've done, even more so than the games I started out. I think, like I said, the only reason why I wanted to play this game was just because I was getting into Red versus Blue, and now, I love the story of Red versus Blue. It is a very, very good story, Halo Reach. I'm kind of all over the place. I just think the thing that I just wasn't a fan of was just the gameplay. I think it's just that Halo is not really a game series that, like, I find myself getting into, even though it's supposed to be one of the biggest franchises and one of the flagships for the Xbox and Microsoft. So like I said, call it a love-hate relationship with this game. I love the story. I'm just not into the gameplay, and I think it kind of shows when I did the Let's Play because I just wasn't really a huge fan of it. All right. Up next, Brutal Legend. Being a person that listens to most of the time rock music, and given that this game also had Jack Black in it, I was very excited to play this game, and I think I've gotten about like 45% through the game until I had no idea what I was doing. Now, as much as I want to do a Let's Play of this game, unfortunately, because there's a lot of licensed rock music on the soundtrack, and they're all very good songs, I highly recommend listening to all the songs that are on the soundtrack to this game. But unfortunately, because there's so many of them, I can't really do a Let's Play of it because of YouTube's fucking AI robot, where if there's even a hint of a song in the video, it's gonna get flagged for copyright, and it's like, I don't want to deal with that headache, and it sucks because this is a very underrated game that I really think needs like a modern day port or an update or something. So I recommend playing this game when you get the chance, and if not, at least listen to the soundtrack. All right. Up next, Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes. So, I have mixed feelings with this game. On the one hand, this was the first Lego game that began the open world trend that pretty much almost all the Lego games have done since. And it was definitely a fun ride that also introduced voice acting, and the voice actors definitely gave it their all. But for some reason, compared to the first Lego Batman game, I just wasn't feeling the gameplay. It just felt like the levels go on and on and on forever. And on top of that, it seemed kind of a hassle to go all around Gotham trying to find all the characters, which can be fun at times, but I just wasn't feeling it for some reason. It's still an overall good game. I mean, it's still an overall good game, but like and it has a lot of charm, and I could possibly pop it back in and try to finish it. I think probably one of the biggest false advertisements that I have is... I think one of the biggest false advertisements that I have is that it's titled DC Superheroes, but it's like the other superheroes don't like show up until like near the end. Yes. So yeah, it's a pretty solid game overall. All right. So next up, we're going to do a 2-for-1 but this is another set of games that I actually haven't gotten the chance to actually touch yet. So next up is a twofer. So next up we have Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4 and years 5 through 7. So again, these were games that I've wanted to get growing up because I was already a huge fan of like the Lego games, but I just never got around to like doing them. And even more so, these are two games I haven't really gotten the chance to like play yet. So there's not really too much I can comment about, but I could definitely give them another chance when I have the time for them. So yeah, I'm sure they're good games. I just haven't had the chance to do so. All right. Up next, we have Saints Row 2. So this game is actually another game that I've learned about from Angry Joe from his Saints Row the Third review, and how it was one of his favorite games back in 2011. And from what I played, it seems like it's a very fun Grand Theft Auto clone, but there's a lot more grittiness to it. And I also like the story of like the different gangs as well as the soundtrack. I remember basically just getting certain cars and just basically customizing the shit out of them. Unfortunately, I haven't really gotten very far into the game, and I think this is actually the second copy that I've gotten from this game, because the first copy that I had, like, ended up, like, freezing and, like, wouldn't read the disc. So I haven't really gotten the chance to, like, go even farther into it, but from what I've played, it's an all-around good time, and I can see why Angry Joe likes this game. All right. Next up, South Park: The Stick of Truth. I remember being excited for this game, and obviously, I was basically getting into South Park during, like, my freshman year of high school, and from what I played, it was an all-around fun RPG game. Unfortunately, I don't think I can do a Let's Play of this game because, well, it's South Park, and there's some very risque stuff that I would probably have to, like, change the camera views for, but I definitely say one day I'll go into greater details, and I think I can. But it's a solid South Park game that I kind of wish gets some kind of like remaster or ported onto like modern consoles, because I think this game deserves another shot, because the South Park games have overall been pretty good since then. All right. Okay, all right, up next, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Okay, so let me get something out of the way. For the longest time, I was probably one of the biggest Call of Duty haters for like a very, very long time. Like, I just couldn't find myself getting into the games when I was younger. And yes, I was one of those people that hated Call of Duty, and the logic for it is that I would say it sucks because of Call of Duty. Now, obviously, that's not the case anymore, since I have gotten the chance to play Modern Warfare. Well, really, the Modern Warfare trilogy is literally the only games in the series that I've played. I have played Ghost, but Ghost only came with the third Xbox console, and it was just not very good when compared to the Modern Warfare trilogy. I still think the story still holds up. I do have the remaster on PS4. I just haven't gotten around to playing it. But I think the original deserves another chance, but I think this is another game that I don't think I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of, just given with the recent updates with YouTube. So that's just kind of something to note. All right, next up, Ultra Street Fighter 4. So I was kind of more of a fresh Street Fighter fan. I didn't really play a whole lot of it because it was kind of more of a technical fighter, and this was kind of more of an expansion port, because I did have the original Street Fighter 4, and I've only played that for a little bit, but I thought that this was kind of more of like the enhanced version of Street Fighter 4, but apparently there was more continuation of stories from the original Street Fighter 4 that I really just wasn't aware of. As I said, I didn't really play much of this game because it is a very technical fighter, and unlike, you know, a lot of fighting games where I find myself like button mashing, it's just not. I mean, it's a good game overall. I just haven't gotten the chance to like fully immerse itself, because I'm not one of those like mastering combo players, which I know it's supposed to make me better at fighting games, but I just don't think it's my style of play. All right, next up is Conan. So I only know about this game from JonTron's Conan video, because apparently this was a good Conan game that he got to play from his like video, but I think it only showed like 30 seconds of gameplay. But based on like about the hour or so I played the game, it was an all-around enjoyable Conan game. Just being able to fight and just slash and kill people and dragons and demons and such. I mean, I did see the 2 Conan movies. And I think I'm willing to give this game another shot. All right, so it's a very underrated game, so I recommend picking it out. All right, up next, Devil May Cry 4. So I was basically becoming a fresh Devil May Cry fan, but really, I think the only games in the series that I've bought were Devil May Cry 3, which for some reason I ended up buying 2 different copies of it, And then Devil May Cry 4, I've only played a little bit of it, only because I haven't gotten past the Nero stage. And I think really because I was just a fan of the voice actors, and Nero is voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, aka Adam from Power Rangers, Yu from Persona 4, Sasori from Naruto. So I just haven't really gotten far into the game because I don't know. I know that the games are supposed to be like ball-bustingly hard. I think maybe that's why I just haven't gotten very far into the game, or maybe just because I just don't have the time. But I think it's a pretty underrated game in the series, and I think people should at least give it another chance, especially since now we have Devil May Cry 5. Alright, up next we have the 2010 Ghostbusters video game. So this is another one I haven't really gotten the chance to play, but based on footage that I've seen from like walkthroughs or YouTube videos of it, and I think a review of like James Rolfe doing it, not as like the angry video game nerd, but as itself, it seemed like an enjoyable game, and I think it's probably one of the better licensed games from what I've seen, but I'm willing to give it another chance. Well, not really another chance, because I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. Alright. Up next, Tales of Vesperia. So, I was basically coming off the heels of finishing up Tales of the Abyss on the 3DS, and this is the only other Tales game that I've really gotten the chance to play. And I think I've gotten about, like, 45 to, like, 50% way through the story. I think the one thing I will never forget is that stupid plant boss fight that comes up with a difficulty spike out of nowhere. And I just haven't really gotten very far into the story, but from what I played, it's a really enjoyable RPG, and I think Yuri is an enjoyable anti-hero that I really liked a lot, and I do like most of the party members that you get. I understand there's like the remastered version on the Switch, but I think part of the reason like why I'm kind of not really interested in getting the remaster on the Switch is just simply because of the voice acting change. Because the original version, Yuri was voiced by Troy Baker, and then in the remaster, he's voiced by Grant George, which I like both voice actors, but it's kind of like day and night for me, and I think I'm just a biased Troy Baker fan, and I'm not really sure if it was like a licensing issue, or they just couldn't get Troy Baker to come back to reprise his role, and they had to get Grant George, but whatever the case may be, I'm probably going to be stick playing to the original, and probably finish up whatever much of the story I haven't really finished yet, because I think I'm probably halfway through the game. I really don't know. Alright, moving on to the second row. So next, we have Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. So, I wasn't really huge getting into the Metal Gear Solid series, but Metal Gear Rising was like my first intro to the series, because it was a fun hack and slash game, and the soundtrack to the game is peak, and has quite possibly one of the best final bosses that I've ever seen. And the soundtrack is just amazing. All the vocal tracks are amazing. I've thought about doing a Let's Play of this game, but I think I just haven't gotten around to doing so. But I really enjoyed it. Alright. Up next, Call of Duty World at War. So, this is one of the games that I've heard has an excellent story and was the introduction of zombie games. Well, okay, it's not a zombie game because it's a World War II type of game. And this is basically kind of Call of Duty at its roots. And I've enjoyed the story for what it was. I think it just wasn't really like mind-blowing to me, but I just heard that the story was pretty good. And because I don't really have online on the Xbox 360, although I hear the online doesn't really work anymore. So the single player is really the only thing I had to fall back on, but it's pretty good. I recommend at least checking it out. Alright, up next, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. One of the earliest Let's Plays that I've done for this channel, and I think it was an overall enjoyable game for a Spider-Man game, and it basically was a lot of fun with the different Spider-Man. Obviously, the Noir Spider-Man is probably like my favorite of the ones that I played as. I think the reason why I got into this game was because my cousin had the PS3 version of the game, and because I had the Xbox 360, I was able to get my hands on this game and get my own copy. And from what I played with him, especially for like the Deadpool level with the Ultimate Spider-Man, I really found myself enjoying this game. So yeah, if you haven't picked it up yet, I recommend giving this game a shot, although there have been the occasional bugs and glitches of it. All right, up next, Mortal Kombat: The Complete Edition. Another, aka Mortal Kombat 9, aka Mortal Kombat 2011. This is another game that I've already done a Let's Play on this channel of, and I think I've gone into great detail of why it's a great game. And I think with the Complete Edition, you had the opportunity to essentially download the Mortal Kombat song by the Warriors, which I basically bought on my iTunes, as well as the first Mortal Kombat movie, which, as you saw in my movies DVD collection, I have that, and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, that nobody refuses to acknowledge, but that's because it sucks. But yeah, I can't really say what I haven't really said about this game. Since the DLC and the online doesn't work anymore, if you find a copy of the Complete Edition, I recommend picking this up instead of the base game version. All right, up next, Alice Madness Returns. I've only learned about this game from one of the earliest YouTubers that I've watched, Tyrant King 10, who did a Let's Play of the game on the PC, and I was really not expecting anything from like Alice in Wonderland because I was only familiar with the Disney version. But just watching the Let's Play, I didn't realize that I would be in for like a fucked up time. And for what little I've played of the game, I'm kind of getting that same feeling, but it's kind of a underappreciated game for what it is. It's supposed to be a sequel to American McGee's Alice, which I haven't really played, and I don't even know if this activation pass is going to work anymore since the online doesn't work, and I don't think there's a way to kind of play this game. But yeah, I still have that in this case. But yeah, I think I'm willing to give this game another chance, and unless I decide to do it for like a Halloween Let's Play, I'm not really sure. All right, next, Lollipop Chainsaw from the minds of Suda51. I really enjoyed the game, especially considering they got Tara Strong to be the voice of Juliet, and I got into the gameplay, and I enjoyed the story for what it was, although I didn't end up saving every civilian, because there was like one civilian, like the second to last level that I didn't save in time, so I automatically got the bad ending because I didn't save the one guy who ended up getting killed by the fire. But all the bosses were pretty creative. Well, okay, some of them kind of took the turning in half, and unfortunately, this is another game that does have like licensed songs in here, so unfortunately, I don't think this is a game that I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of, unfortunately.